A very great morning to you watching Westnile Television, wherever you're catching the show live from. Today is 6th of June 2023, and it is already 26 minutes past over 7 a.m. My name is Denis Oringi. Wherever you're catching the show live from, you're most welcome. And I'm here to give you every information that you need to know this morning, what is happening locally right here in West Nile, Northern Uganda, and also knowing what is happening right the other side of Kampala from the dailies, the Daily Bunte and the New Vision as well. But we are starting it right from the local stories that we do have right here for you this morning. And those who are catching us live using the Zuko satellite channel 0073, thank you very much for joining us this morning. And not forgetting those who are catching us live using the StarTime satellite, that is channel 477, we do appreciate you very much. Not forgetting those who are catching us live using the socials of Westnile Television, the YouTube and also the Facebook, we thank you. And those who are following us live on that is the Twitter handle where we always drop for you the updates each and every second right there. We do appreciate you very much. If you want to follow my personal Twitter handle, just get to Oringi Denis and Oringi Francis 11. That is my Twitter handle that you can easily get me, and we have the conversation right there. All right, dear viewer, thank you very much, and allow me to inform you this morning that the non-formal students who were enrolled last year in September and were for 6 months skills training at Arua Technical Institute Ragem have been passed out with the best performers awarded with the toolkits to start implementing. That is what they were able to learn from the institute. And so the students attained skills in building and construction, machinery, plumbing, and also domestic electrical skills right there. And so the students were sponsored by KCB together with that is GIZ right there. Let's have more on this story. The 69 students who were enrolled for non-formal technical and vocational skills training last year in September at Arua Technical Institute Ragem, fully sponsored by KCB Foundation and the German Development Corporation, have today been graduated. Those who graduated are now to join the forces to increase their employability and income generation in construction sector. According to the KCB branch manager Arua, what the bank has done is part of its social corporate responsibility, majorly supporting the disadvantaged young people through skilling, which they believe will contribute greatly to the development of the economy.
But last year we had to progress to education, where we looked at disadvantaged students who dropped out of E7, they dropped out of senior 4. Before even reaching senior 4, we looked at, as we say now, how can we better the lives of these people, students? So the bank had to liaise with GIZ to sponsor these students to do non-formal vocational studies. A total of 85 students were selected through rigorous processes. However, the branch manager says only 69 completed successfully. 85 students, but along the way others looked at the courses as minor. About 69 students graduated out of this course. The principal Arua Technical Institute Ragem, Omar Francis, hails KCB and GIZ for the total support granted to the students who have undergone training from the institute.
The bank ensured that they made the provisions for the training materials. They were given safety wear, and they were given the requirements to study around. Their job was only to come from home and study here. The institution did not have the capacity to take them on as boarders because of our infrastructure. We don't have enough facilities to accommodate here as boarding. But I do hope in future we shall be able to do that.
Some of the outstanding performers among the young people were given startup kits courtesy of KCB and GIZ, and those who have not been privileged to receive the kits have been advised to borrow startup kits loan from KCB, which is readily available to be given out.
The peer beneficiaries, like I said, we have a service toolkit loan. What we need of you, those who have been on our WhatsApp groups, we have sure tried to tell you more and more about this. We need you to come up with an idea. We need you to be engaged in the system. Don't just come for a toolkit loan. We need to know what you're going to use it for.
Some of the students completed the non-formal skilled courses and are ready to use the knowledge attained, say their status quo have changed and life they are living now is far much better than the life they were living before, and they appreciate the sponsors for the support extended to them.
Very gladful for them. It was my first time because the course I picked is BC, that is building. I didn't have any experience on building, but ever since I came here, I knew how to line the bricks, how to dig a foundation and use those other materials. So it has given me a lot of experience.
For 6 months, in those 6 months, the 3 got us in school, then the 3 were in field. We have acquired so much skills from the training that we did with KCB and GSL. And the training had been good. They changed our lives in several ways. And as I talk currently, I did the course in electrical, and I can proudly say I'm an electrician. Currently, I can wire houses, can do anything concerning wiring. And I thank the KCB group and the GSL. I thank them a lot.
It was not easy. I was struggling with life to make a living. I was doing a small business, which you know there are a lot of challenges in it. Sometimes you also fail. Sometimes you also break down. You again wait for some time to get up. It wasn't easy.
Diana Komukama Sempebwa, KCB Head of Marketing, in a message read by Stephen Kibuka, Business Development Officer, KCB, says the KCB is committed to provide financial support to those who have completed the 6 months skillings to make them achieve their goals.
All the celebrants, as you graduate today, I would like to remind you that your journey does not end here. The skills you have acquired are valuable assets that you can use to navigate the dynamic business environment. Committed to supporting your continued growth and development, we will continue to provide you with the financial solutions and support you need to achieve your goals and take your business to the next level.
The Principal Education Officer, Rua City, Ombre Raymond Obiale, who was the guest of honor during the function, calls on the youth who have been graduated with a certificate in skill training to exhibit high sense of honesty and obedience in whatever they will be doing with the skills they have obtained.
Attitude which makes you to respect other people's things. That I have been given 3 bags and I'm going to use the 3 bags for the work it is intended. That I have been called to do some electricity work, I will ask people honestly for the right prices and make sure I only take what is due for me. By the way, you do those things, God blesses you immensely.
This project is under the Employment and Skills for Development in Africa program, commissioned by the German Federation Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, co-funded by the Norwegian Agency for Development Cooperation, and is implemented by GIZ and KCB Bank. Uganda's Trekozese program. Denis Oringi, Westnile TV, Nile Coast.
All right, thank you very much. Kudos to those who have completed the 6 months training in skills, development right there at Rua Technical Institute, Ragam, and also kudos to KCB Bank together with the GIZ for the support that they extended in this particular, cohort of the students. They were able to benefit for free, and they would never paid any amount of money. And so issues to do with finances were really catered by KCB together with that is GIZ. And so this is what the country is really focusing on, skilling the young people, skilling the youth. This skilling opportunity is not only meant for maybe those who did not complete maybe senior 4 or senior 6 or university. You can as well join also to be skilled. Sometimes we tend to ignore such courses, but they're very important in life. I have ever seen those who have PhD, they don't know how to nail, they will have to invite somebody who has done such kind of course to really come and work on their buildings, and so we need to coexist. There are certain simple things that we can really do on our own at our home. And so for you to do such, you have to be skilled. And skilling people, technically and also vocationally, does not mean that they are undervaluing you. You might be having your PhD, you might be highly educated, but you can still acquire the skills that they are really talking about here. And so Arua Technical Institute again is one of the institutes, the technical and vocational institutes that we do have in Westnile region, and founded by the Catholic Church of Arua Diocese way back in 1990. And so I think it has contributed greatly also to the development of the region. Remember the structures that we see coming up in the city and also in different places that we do have in West Nile. They are being constructed by some of the gentlemen and ladies who attained the vocational skills right from Arua Technical Institute again. So we cannot be talking about development of the city without bringing in the aspect of skilling the young people. And so if we want to have the city develop in terms of structures, we need to really value the skilling programs that are being implemented, and we cannot really sit back without appreciating those that are really playing a very key role in financing the skilling programs that we do have. I know the number of organizations and also companies, and this reminds me of the current program that is going on at Arua Technical Institute again, funded by Korean corporation right there. And so they have been able to really support the school, the institute, very, very much right there. Right, away from vocational and technical skilling, let's get to Marasha District issues to do with corruption. Marasha District Council has passed a resolution to allow independent agencies like the IGG and State House Anti-Corruption Unit to investigate District Service Commission over irregularities and corruption allegations. This comes after the Marasha District Service Commission has come under fire from politicians, activists and other concerned citizens in the district after the recruitment exercise of primary school teachers which was mad with the corruption allegations. Let's have more on that story.
Marasha District Service Commission has come under fire from politicians, activists and other concerned citizens in the district after the recruitment exercise for primary school teachers were marred with irregularities and corruption allegations. Honorable Madwa Patrick, the councillor representing people with disabilities, was in grief over the yearly complaints against the commission concerning the recruitment exercise for nurses and teachers, and recommends the independent agencies like the IGG or the State House Anti-Corruption Unit to investigate the Service Commission.
If the whistleblowers come up with this kind of issue, definitely there has been dissatisfaction in the recruitment exercise in the district. I don't have evidence to that effect. For several times, people are not satisfied sometimes with the recruitment here. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to say, if there are some laws, if there are some institutions that can investigate the District Service Commission in the recruitment, can we recommend as a council that they investigate the institution that can investigate the District Service Commission during the recruitment, let the institution take the responsibility. So that this kind of issues, these kinds of dissatisfactions can come in, can stop.
Honorable Drani Silva, councillor for Oleba Town Council, requested that the authorities in the district do not squeeze the entire Service Commission, but rather eliminate the few pests that are spoiling the reputation of the Service Commission.
No recruitment on replacement basis is not a problem. The problem is the procedure. One time, a senior planner who happened to be the senior planner from the district, he told me that the issues of government need procedure. How come when it comes to the issue of recruiting, they don't do procedure? And then when in DRC, are we in Congo? Because to recruit 22 staff needs money. Mr. Speaker, my question to you is, which you extend later to the concerned person, where did they get the budget for recruiting 22 teachers? Is there seek for supplemental budget? If they're short, which office was that? I'm the vice chairperson for finance planning. I must have known that that office is seeking for a supplemental budget to recruit 22 extra teachers. And the one whom I know were 76. And here I'm hearing that they recruited 98. My question is, did you get that money from me for recruiting 22?
Honorable Obita Stephen, the LC5 chairman for Maracha district, has warned the Service Commission members never to repeat such mistakes again.
There are really a lot of issues out there. A lot of issues. People now take out there that getting job in Maracha is only through paying money. Paying money. And this money is not collected by members of Service Commission. There are some people who have positioned themselves closer to the members of Service Commission and some of the technical people. To the extent that they take themselves to be, can I say, commission agents. You go and start lobbying money from people that, you know, I'm close to so and so, I can do this and that. As I speak, I have about four issues on my table. Somebody somewhere, a middleman, picked 3 million. That I'm going to lobby for you, you will get this job. Just as somebody said, if the person gets the job, keeps quiet. If he loses, problems come. The person is now pushing me to recover this money. I want to warn head teachers, especially in the recruitment of teachers. Some teachers feel they are more connected to offices here than any other person. They go calling, soliciting money. I have their details. I have their details. But I don't want to expose them here. I don't want to expose them here. A number of head teachers, even one head teacher up to now is keeping somebody's cow. He's keeping somebody's cow which he picked for soliciting a position for somebody. Somewhere, somehow, the confusion is... I tell you I have data, but I don't want to float all. There are issues. There are issues in this district.
Honorable Oringi Denis, MP Maracha constituency, stated that he has received complaints from some of the people who received appointment letters, and now Service Commission members are asking them to return the appointment letters.
It would seem to me there are matters that are criminal. As I talk now, I have been approached by some complainants too. I have some of their complaints on my phone. There are people who claim they got posting instructions, they were given appointment letters, and now they are being called by the offices of human resource that they should hand over the application. I mean, the appointment letters. Does it work like that? If we do not handle this matter properly, I think we are about to attract costs for the district.
Is it in consensus that this particular item, the recommendation of the standing committee of the executive committee, be deferred to either IGG or police? Those in the favor say aye. Those in the contrary view say aye. The ayes have taken it. Mr. RDC, I therefore ask you to table the petition here at the table as the presidency representative. Don't go deep into this issue. You have just come today.
Okumaringa Christine for Westnile Television, Nilecast.
All right, that is the matter to do with the corruption here in our country, Uganda. So we have to really, open up our eyes seriously. This is going to all the districts that we have in Western region. If you have been, fraudulently, stolen, you have to really open up your eyes and report such cases. Yes, they do happen. I need not to really, meander with my words right there. And so the district service commissions that we have in these districts need to be investigated. It is the same case right here in Arua City, as councillors are also grumbling seriously with the issues to do with the previous recruitment of the staff that the city authority recruited right there, and also other districts that we do have. And so who is this animal called the district service commission? Who are the people who sit in the district service commission? Trust me, I will be able to bring to your attention tomorrow all what you need to know about the district service commission, who appoints the district service commission chairperson, and how are other members in the commission appointed, and what is their terms of reference. And so we shall be able to break it down for you right there tomorrow. And so that is something that you need to know in Marasha, that Marasha District Council is not happy with the conduct of the District Service Commission right there in regards to the recent recruitment that the district conducted in regards to recruiting the teachers and also other staff right there. Away from that, let's go to Kampala and give you what you need to know from Kampala right there. A second petition challenging the Anti-Homosexuality Act has been filed before the Constitutional Court. Last week, 11 activists challenged the anti-homosexuality law with a petition in the Constitutional Court, but the petition suffered glitches when some of the petitioners, including Fox Odoi and Dr. Frank Mugisha, said they had not been consulted before filing the petition. However, in the latest petition, Odoi has been joined by Frank Mugisha, Pepe Ozima, Jacqueline Kemigisha, Andrew Mwenda, Linda Mutesi, Kinto Nyago, Jane Nasimbwa, and Paul Bushana Kiwereza to challenge the anti-homosexuality law right there. So the petitioners urge that the new law is inconsistent and offends Article 92 of the Constitution of Uganda, which emphasizes that Parliament shall not pass any law to alter the decision or judgment of any court as between the parties to the decision or on judgment right there. And so that is matter to do with challenging the anti-homosexuality law that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni assented his signature to, and it has been confirmed that it is the law that is supposed to work here in our country, Uganda. It is quite unfortunate, it's my personal opinion, that there are people who are disagreeing with the majority that we do have here in our country, Uganda. So we leave it to the Constitutional Court to make a decision in regards to the petition that has been filed by the by these persons. It's hard to know their gender because they are called LGBTQs, advocates right there. And so let's go for a break, and when we come back we shall be diving into some of the stories we have for you in the Daily Monitor and in the New Vision as well. Before you get the papers, you should be able to know what are some of the stories that are trending in our country, Uganda, and also knowing what is happening at the international level. And do not forget, I will also be able to dive into what is happening in the world of sports towards the end of the program. That will be at exactly 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Thank you very much. We are coming to you live from the broadcast house of Westnile Television right here in Arua City, plot 39A, Weather Park Lane, next to the Presidential State Lodge. And for those who do not know where Westnile Television is located, this is what I can really tell you. If you want to locate us, just go to Google Map as well. You'll be able to map us exactly where we are located and where we are coming to live. Thank you very much. Let's go for a break, and we shall be coming right back.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
More for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
Eight minutes to the top of the hour of 8 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Today is Tuesday, dear viewer. Let's look into the stories that we have in the Daily Monitor this morning. A very quick highlights right here. NEMA task to ensure Bugoma Forest is restored. They have destroyed, now they have tasked NEMA to ensure that the Bugoma Forest is really restored. Who are the people who cleared the Bugoma Forest? And when they were clearing, where were the NEMA people and also other agencies that are charged with the responsibility of protecting the environment? And so we are now talking about we are just doing postmortem at this particular time. And I do not know whether what will be planted by NEMA and also other agencies will be able to really cover the area like the natural trees that existed at Bugoma National Forest right there. And so as you get back to Wealth and Environment Day, yesterday the Save Bugoma Forest campaign wrote to the National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, requesting that the authority avails them and the general public with a copy of the approved restoration plan for Bugoma's Central Forest Reserve right there. So in their statement, SBFC demanded that the ongoing destruction of the said forest be immediately stopped by NEMA, since it is the government body charged with the management of the environment. Bugoma Forest is found in Shikube district in western Uganda. But Naomi Karekaho, the spokesperson of NEMA, said some of the claims raised are merely false alerts, and so that is something that you need to know right there. A group is demanding NEMA to restore Bugoma Forest, and NEMA is saying some of the allegations are just some of the claims are merely false alerts. And so I thought that this is the time that NEMA should be able to work with activists to see that some of the central forest reserves that we do have in the country are restored. It is not only in Bugoma. Come to West Nile, and let me tell you, Mount K Central Forest Reserve, as I talk right now, it has been cleared. And for those who have ever been to that is Yumbi District or Koboko District, you will be able to see that the mountain, and that is K Mountain, can be seen visibly from a very far without trees covering it. Unlike in the past that you could not really see the tip or the peak of the mountain K right there. But currently We have lost Mount K to loggers, those who have money, and they ferry these logs in the trucks that drive on these government roads, passing through different roadblocks that we have in this country. And you ask yourself, who are the people who are really trading in these logs that come from West Nile? You'll find that those are responsible men and women who love money and they don't love environment. And then at the end of the day, what they think of is that, can I have my money? And they don't think about the lives of those that are living around the Central Forest Reserve. And sometimes I do say that maybe NEMA is just a barking dog that does not bite, because this is not the first time that people are raising this alert. It reminds me of Zoka Forest. You know what is happening the other side of Germany. And it reminds me of just here at Njeva. You have a seed. Last year, but one and MTN partnered with NEMA to say that Nzeva Forest Reserve is really restored. And what happened exactly? Some of the trees were planted, and I can remember vividly the State Minister from Northern Uganda was the chief guest during that particular campaign of restoring Nzeva, Central Forest Reserve. So what has happened to that? And so we have some of the forest reserves that we do have in West Nile that even nobody wants to talk about. Talk about Lendu Forest Reserve and what has happened there. Is there that restoration plan that NEMA has, NFA has? And so what is NFA doing? What is NEMA doing? And so these are government agencies that have been put in place to ensure that the environment is really protected. But what we see is impounding the charcoal, but after impounding the charcoal, the bags of charcoal, what happens to the bags of charcoal? How much money is NFA realizing out of the bags of charcoal that are being impounded? It's quite unfortunate that the other time the California bus that was taking West Nilers to Kampala, others to celebrate, to commemorate Uganda Matters Day, perishing in that accident that involved the California bus and also that lorry. And so the lorry was ferrying bags of charcoal from where? From northern Uganda. Yet President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni recently, issued what we call the executive order banning sale of charcoal from northern Uganda. And the trailer, the big truck, was from northern Uganda with bags of charcoal, and nobody talked about the bags of charcoal in relation to the executive order that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni issued. Only people focused on the bus and the human persons inside there. And so I think we need to go back to the drawing board, and we need to always intensively read the executive orders that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni issued the other time in regards to stopping the sale of charcoal. And I would really love to see myself positioning myself at the bridge of Pakwash and see whether Uganda Revenue Authority and the checkpoints that we have there they're doing their part. Those working for Uganda Revenue Authority, I think we should also be able to have the environmental police officer, put at the checkpoint at Pakwash to check the trucks that are leaving this region, whether they're carrying any forest products leaving this western region. And that is where we can really start the fight against the destruction of environment that we are really seeing currently. If we do not do that, let me tell you, our grandchildren will blame us. Even if we shall be in the graves, they will blame us for not doing our part in protecting the environment. I think the only game reserve that should really advocate for protection is Ajay Game Reserve. And if we just close our eyes and we pretend that things are well, we shall see Ajay Game Reserve also being depleted by some individuals that we have in this country, Uganda, because they call themselves powerful and you cannot touch them. You as a local person, what do you have? They will ask you, how much do you have in your pocket? Do you even have an account here in this country? And so who are you? And so those are some of the questions that some of the environmental activists have been asked by those who think that they own this country, yet they are supposed to protect the environment that we have. And so when it comes to environment, I don't have kind words for some of these people. We have to join hands together and protect the environment. We always talk about the climate change, and some people are being sponsored to go to Europe to discuss climate change of Africa, and when they come back they forget about the impact of the climate change that is affecting the livelihood of the people that we have in this country called Uganda, which is also located in Africa. And so if you are to tour the greater north, let me tell you, the forest cover that we used to have, they're no longer there. Just drive through the park after Pakwash. What were we having before? what we are seeing now, some people have now made it garden in a farm, a very big farmland, and they clear the trees, you understand. And so how are we really coexisting with the environment? And you cannot just live in an environment by destroying and what is feeding you. It's like you destroying, you're killing your mother. The mother has produced you, and you are benefiting from the mother, and now stupidly you turn around and you kill the person feeding you. Are you aware that the environment we live in is like our mother that feeds us with a lot of good things that we need to appreciate and always support? And so if we continue to join hands together, destroy the mother that feeds us, and then we are also heading to doom, and that means that we shall be able to die also, like what we are doing to the environment. So according to that is SBCFC, that is the body, the activist, the authority legally and irregularly issued an environmental and social impact assessment to set up a sugarcane plantation on 2.2 square of the forest and an ecotourism site on 1.97 square, among others. And so Kareho, while responding to the aforementioned allegation, said the issuance of a certificate is dependent on whether or not the report issued meets the criteria. And then secondly, when we talk about the environment impact assessment, who is doing this environment impact assessment? Recently, during the inspection of the Enyao 1 and Enyao 2 bridges that we have here in Arua City and the Arua district, one critical issue that came out was the issue of the environmental impact assessment, that even the construction of the bridge started without the environmental impact assessment. And so what has happened? Who is responsible for issuing the reports that concerns the environment in as far as any construction work is concerned? Are we aware that before you put up your structure, you're supposed to have environment impact assessment done by the environment officers that we have in these districts? Are the environment officers we have in district doing their work, or they're sleeping on that job? Should we phase out the environment officers that we do have in these districts, because they seem not to be doing anything? So that is it, and so I leave it to you to decide whether they are creating impacts in the districts that they are really serving, or they are not. If they are not, why should we continue paying people out of the taxpayers' money and we really forget about? Let's go for a break. We shall be coming right back.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Get more for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon Channel for Best Children Entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, we'll be back. You're still watching Westnile Television. My name is Denis Oringi right here. Let's get to more stories that we have from the Daily Monitor this morning. You have to know that frustrated nurse goes missing after failing to get promotion is another story that we have in the Daily Monitor this morning. An enrolled nurse working at Busolowe General Hospital in Butaleja District has gone missing after she reportedly failed to get a promotion right there. And so Scovia Namataka, 33 years old, who has been serving at the facility since 2013, went missing on May 28th after leaving behind a note in her rental room, indicating her frustration and potentially threatening to take her life. According to the note seen by Daily Monitor, the nurse said she was frustrated for not being promoted to assistant nursing officer. More than 10 years of service with added qualifications, no promotion. I can't even be shortlisted for an interview. Why? But Butaleja local government give my people answers, rest in peace, then not reads in part. And so that is something that is quite unfortunate right there, that government does not look into the psychosocial support being given to the workers that we have in this country. There are others who have worked in this country for over 30 years and they have never seen themselves climbing the ladder, even if they have the qualification. And somebody says that it may be because of nepotism and also tribalism that makes them not to get. Maybe. I am not saying that it is true. Maybe. Because why? If somebody has the qualification, somebody has worked for the required number of years for him or her to attain, a promotion, but the person is not given that, environment for him or her to be promoted. And so what could be the problem? And so it becomes news if people begin to write not like that and they leave behind. I think this is a very big task that the government of the Republic of Uganda has in regards to addressing the psychosocial support that is supposed to be given to the government workers. The other time we were discussing the escorts and the drivers of the VVIPs that we have in this country, Uganda. And so what has happened to them? Have they been called maybe to Shamkwazi for retreat? But we see the ministers and the members of parliament who are being driven and guarded by these guards being taken to Shamkwazi for retreat. I expected the first group of people to be taken to Shamkwazi should be the drivers and the escorts of these VVIPs that we have in this country, Uganda, because they need also to be taken through some psychosocial support and also hearing from them. They might be having good stories to tell the government on what is the problem. And also come to the teachers. We have the teachers who are depressed. That majority of teachers in Westnile, they don't go to the banks themselves to withdraw their salaries. Their salaries are being withdrawn by moneylenders because the moneylenders have their ATM cards and also their PIN number. And so what happens? And so this person, if the salary is paid like this, he has to wait from the moneylender to tell him that, come, I have withdrawn your salary. And you know how much is given back to this teacher? It is on 10,000, that is your balance. And what do you need to do? You have to borrow another money from the same money lender. And so you find that this teacher is just in that circle of borrowing year in, year out. And the money cannot help. And then the person has to go to school, enter in classes, and has to really deliver as it is expected from him or her. And what are we doing for such group of people? What are we doing as government? What kind of support are we giving to them? And in that, you'll find that many people are affected as a result of such kind of life that somebody is living. One, there's no psychosocial support being given to this teacher. Two, this teacher has children and has wives. to really cater for, and also sometimes the person is renting. If you're teaching in town areas like Arua city, you have to rent and you have to feed yourself. But the government of the Republic of Uganda wants you to deliver 100% to see that learners do pass. And so what are we doing for them? We have the doctors and the nurses. Are we really giving them some psychosocial support? Are we trying to do that? They see blood each and every time. And according to some culture, if you see blood on a daily basis, you can easily kill somebody. And are we trying to talk to them? Are we trying to advise them? And then we have these people, the psychiatrists who are always, with the persons with mental problem. And so are we also trying to give them some psychosocial support so that they really adapt to the environment that they have been posted to manage? And so what are we doing? What are we doing to our workers, more especially government workers that we have in this country? Not only government workers, even some private workers need also psychosocial support, because they also go through a lot. And if you don't give them the psychosocial support, you will find that even their performance will not really be effective. And so sometimes issues to do with salary, the money the person is getting is not enough, the money is not coming on time, and this person has to feed the family, the person also has to dress smart, the person also has to really take care of the siblings and also other family members. That is the life that we are in, and how can we support such group of people who are going through such? And so this is so much important that we should be able to look into that. There are people who are dying very early when they are not supposed to die, simply because the life they are living in cannot really permit them to really continue with the life. And you end up writing a note and leaving behind that I need answer from maybe your employer, maybe you need answer from the person that you're working for. Right. If you're working for government, then you have to task the ministry or the department or the agency or the local governments that you're working for. Like for this particular nurse, she has written here, more than 10 years of service with added qualifications, no promotion. I can't even be shortlisted for an interview. Why? Butaleja local government, give my people answers. RIP. Rest in peace. The note reads in part. And so this is a note written by this particular nurse who claims to have worked for 10 years, and she has the qualifications that can make her climb a ladder in a job. And she just wanted to be promoted to assistant nursing officer, but all in vain, and she cannot be promoted. And so what happens? It left her with only writing a note to be left behind right there. And so Bukedi South Regional Police spokesperson Johnson Moses Mugwe on Friday said they are investigating the matter. He added that the nurse left her 2 children, one of 3 years and another of 6 months, locked up in the house. So look at that. And so you see, because of lack of psychosocial support to this particular nurse, the nurse is not being cancelled properly. She ended up locking these little ones inside the house. And you know how one feels if the person is to make such decision of locking children inside the house. And so, and then quoting from the police officer, he says here that our team of investigators led by the district criminal investigation officer, while documenting the scene, found a suicide note which she left behind. He said, Mugwe explained that some concerned nurses on a fateful day went to find out why the children were crying, only to find them locked up in a room. And so he said preliminary investigations indicate that the missing nurse had applied for a promotion to assistant nursing officer but was not shortlisted. And so she had to transfer the aggression to the children by locking them inside there. And so we have very many people who are in that kind of state. And what can we do to them? If government can also organize some retreat, refresher courses, and also psychosocial support being given to these people. They go through a lot, my dear. You have to feed this one. You have to provide each and everything that is needed. Then some of the nurses are single mothers, and so they have to look left and right to see that their children that they have are really properly taken care of, and also taken to good schools, because people are now looking at good schools for their children to survive in this world. If you take your child to these schools that they call it for the less privileged, the community schools that we do have, people have the assumption that your child will never get any employment in this country, because when it comes to time of giving job, they first look at the schools that you went to. And so if you have been going to these UPE schools, they will say, no. Let us give priority to this person who studied in Kampala. He might be knowledgeable because the person went to a good school. And then for our children who are going to these schools, you know, their chances of getting a job in this country is a little bit, you know, I should not say 50-50. It might be a 30 or you know, over 100. And so it will depend how knowledgeable you are and how practical you are when it comes to the implementation. And majority, we see them ending up attaining, going for, you know, vocational and technical, you know, skills training that we do have. But at the end of the day, the people who have studied in these good schools will be employing them to do for them work, build for them their houses. And so this is where we are. This is the state of life. And so we cannot run away from that fact. The fact is the rich will continue to become richer and the poor people will continue to become poorer. And so that gap will continue to exist. And so what are we supposed to do? It will be until we really think that we are human enough, that we need to coexist, and we think about the lives of other people as well, to see them, they live a life that is, you know, to the expectation of them. And so that's something that I need to let you know, that the government workers are suffering, my dear. Don't think that they're not suffering. They're suffering. I know of many. I have been with some of the men in uniform also. They're suffering. But they have now to kanya in a lure, ge kanya kuone yotungo, sente umba, sente magin wange nok, sente ne wilo shamo dengo, eshulo odengo, eshulo we school mabasho dengo, di igami neno ni aya sente min wange manok no, chwal kuda we peri yang yaro vodo yakeno, e wegi beri akesha, e kanyo, iwange be ya bere igi, ya nyim, gibeshi di school pa wegi nede. Entropika woni inwangonia ya kuone eti chalo tesnda ginde wizi ni kade gude tesndani umakidi wengi maber ka gami nen odi tesndani igami roi wizi edon ko madano tika ni kadhi yoti ko matek juru tich pagamente ko juru tich matungtung de kitika ni kadhi ko enne sende mba sende ruinyo ngatu makon wang sende e wil ko deng mashol nwang sente makene ni ya kendri maber elo ko bongo pare awia sham e vuti ot maiti ka ne panga e donc sende ne de e game binungo sawa no e tire ton lambe moko madit sana ko won ot maite kan panga ot pare won ot yarire ni aya jal agam go sende bo meru bi gero oteni sende eni anda tie ku kuok do in chula kay mitu medra suka ni beri ot in kaka e kinwango kitu ma ko sende ne nwange ko de titwan pako pieni timotishwa e tich ne de e binungo fene de binungo wang sawa shalo kitama umako bin kude so inwangona jumuti kan timo tish kono pagamente ya tish matungtung ma tanti kan timo di che kan kadi ko di lame ko beli samu ken nenu ngati woti di street midi town en gigenu nyo ko uti enene ndu kan kerene ya kom remuti kan woto tipo mba kude tipo parte kan paro bor oketo lambe na chalo nyanas e ugoro pare waraga washina ya pirango ma etiup ora par etie ku karatasi de moromo reji romo medungo ruom pare itish maite kan timo no ngega me washina ya district butala ja ugonyiro uyer ni dano para ni aya unyuti gilambe ugam penjine pirango moromo mikire ngo ruom kende itish ma pare mete kan timo edong lambe ne mako nwango ju nwang kare moko jubedu kare mi ko ponti ni juru tish eni kito mage ko de lambe du parti mage kite kan kaade kudi ie e kari lambe ite kan kaade kudi e biblia washina ya shir shan e binwango soklea ne e polo and so endong soklea ne polo nwangere yoto ngoba e ka ko pere bedo mabero ngombe kino biblia ya rokoni ya polo ne de bitu shungo and so eternal rest grant to those who have departed away from us after going through depression and challenges. I know they never wanted to leave this world, but because of condition that they were living in, forced them to leave the world. I know God has granted them the eternal rest, and they're resting. Let them also pray for us that we should not go the same way that they went, by us being supported with the good life, from the sweat that we produce. And so that is my prayer this morning, that what we do should be appreciated in all walks of life, whether you're a teacher, you're a politician, you have been, voted in by the people, serve the people. And you, a doctor, please do your part. You're a nurse, do your part. At the end of the day, you have to be appreciated for the work that you have done. And may the good Lord speak to the hearts of those that have been given the opportunity to take lead in the implementation of all the programs and the promotions and also recruitment of persons to work in different organizations that we do have in this country. And so may their hearts also bleed for the lives of those that are really working tirelessly to see that things move in the right direction. A good servant needs to be appreciated. And may those that are in charge of the servants recognize the contributions of these servants through giving them what is worth giving. Away from that, Nabanja tasked NEMA to fund, investors using, plastics right there. We continue to discuss issues to do with the plastics, the issue of the, plastic laws in this country. I do not know what has happened. Sometimes back members of parliament were discussing this, and it was a very hot debate. And I have come to know that in this country, Uganda, whatever is tabled at the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda as a motion, as a bill, it is being funded. These issues are being funded, and there are people who are in support, and there are people who are not in support. And so, at the end of the day, you see money pouring in. There are people who are saying, no, plastic has to continue. We need to continue producing plastic. Then there are people who are saying, no, we don't want plastic. And what you have to put money. You understand? And then we see the majority. Who are the people going for the money, and who are the people who are not going for the money? And so I believe if we can move away from that, having a discussion only looking at the other side of the money, and then we want certain things to pass through when it is fully funded, it becomes quite unfortunate right there. And so the issue of plastic is a very serious issue in our country, Uganda. Come to Arua, and then you see how people are really disposing this plastic. It is quite unfortunate that we have human beings who have the brains, but they don't use their brains to think and know that this is wrong. It's quite unfortunate that those who drive luxurious cars, they drink the water from the bottle, and then they just throw the bottles out of their window, and then they expect this poor old woman to be the one in charge of collecting the bottles. It's quite unfortunate, and they just go free without them being implicated, not even being arrested. And so you ask yourself, where are we heading to? So we believe that maybe because of Prime Minister Nabanja tasking NEMA to fund, that is investors reusing plastics. And so how much are we going to spend in funding these investors who are reusing plastics that we have in this country, Uganda? And who is funding this? You'll find that it will still come back to the taxpayers. And so shall we spend money on investors reusing plastic, yet we can really stop the usage of plastics in this country by providing alternatives? And I believe there are alternatives to plastic if it is a disease in this country. Decentralization crippling local government programs, as saying Puga. And so remember, decentralization was introduced in our country, Uganda, in 1993. And so how many years are we talking about decentralization now? I think it's now coming almost to 30 years that this country called Uganda has been implementing decentralization. We thought decentralization would really bring services closer to the people, but if it is crippling, that is local government programs, and then what should we do? Should we go back to the centralization of programs here in our country, Uganda? Let's have more on this story, as it has been said by the leader of opposition at Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Matthias Mpuga. And so he says here that he has rallied for autonomy of local government programs to boost service delivery right there. Mpuga says that the continued decentralization of the local government powers and programs, including the local revenues, has slowed service delivery delivery at the lower local governments right there. Quoting him saying here, what is happening at the lower local government is a deliberate crippling of the service delivery systems, since the funds supposed to cater for the services are held by the central government and released late. As Parliament, we played our part. We demanded that the lower local governments take charge of their locally generated resources, and so according to the leader of opposition, it is illegally when the funds locally generated are sent to the central government and never released on time. And so this is what is happening in our country, Uganda. Different local governments that we do have in this country, Uganda, generate their own local revenue. What do they do after generating the revenue? They really send this money back to the center, and as soon as they have sent this money back to the center, what happens is that it is the center to make decision whether to release this money now or the money to be released later. And so he says, I acknowledge the fact that your roads are in bad shape and the state of the dilapidated schools and classroom blocks for our children. We need to have these challenges addressed. This is why the office of the leader of opposition is touring your areas for purposes of monitoring and to help have different challenges addressed by the relevant government in our departments that we have in this country. That's according to Mpuga. Benjamin Makanga, the Nakaseke District Secretary for Works and represented the district LC5 chairperson, revealed that the withholding of the locally generated funds and the decentralization of several of the local program services is a great pain to the locals, is what you need to know right there. On Monday, Mpuga was joined by a section of the opposition lawmakers, including Luero District Woman Member of Parliament, Brenda Nabo Kenya, Mitiana Woman Member of Parliament, Jace Bagala, Wakiso District Woman Member of Parliament, Betty Nalonyima, and Nakaseke Central Member of Parliament, Alan Mayanja, among other MPs, on the tour of the different government programs in the Greater Luero District. Some months ago, leader of opposition in Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Mathias Mpuga, was able to tour Westnile region, starting from the district of Ajumani up to that is Pakwash, and he was able to confirm that Westnile districts are doing badly in terms of the implementation of the government programs. Some of the projects that are being undertaken by different government ministries that we do have in this country, Uganda, here in West Nile, the projects have stalled, and if not stalled, and then the condition of the project is appalling. And so he cited one of the health centers, 3 being constructed in Moyo district, that the contractor disappeared from site and the project has stalled. And that is not the only project. Go to Pawarsit Secondary School and see the quality of work done there under UGIFT. And so what has happened? And so we continue to have that. We have had several issues to do with the construction of the seeds schools that we do have, and also Uganda Intergovernmental Support and Physical program. What has happened? Physical transfer right there. The UGIF, the Uganda governmental physical transfer. And so what has happened right there? Moreover, World Bank funded projects. And one thing that I've realized with the construction of Seed Secondary School, one contractor is given 3 schools, and this person is supposed to complete within the specific period of time. If it is 9 months, the contractor has to complete the 3 schools that he is really constructing within the 9 months. And so how possible is it that a contractor is able to complete the construction of 3 schools within 9 months? I think this is impossible, unless you allow them to do the shoddy work that they want to do, because that is what is the case. I can remember vividly with the example, Louis Seed Secondary School was given to one contractor. The contractor was also constructing Atego Seed Secondary School by that particular time, and then the same constructor was also constructing that is Atiak Seed Secondary School in Zombo District. And so one contractor was constructing 3 seeds school here in West Nile and in the 3 districts. And up to now, one of the schools is not officially commissioned, and that is Atego Seed Secondary School. If Nebi District received the school from the contractor, I need to be corrected. But I believe nothing happened, because I know Nebi District, and I come from Nebi District, and I know what happens there. And so that's something that I need to let you know here. And this all comes to the issues to do with the centralization, re-centralization, decentralization, and the fact that the districts are complaining that these are hybrid projects. Their awards of contracts are done from the center. They are not responsible. The districts are not responsible for the award of contracts. And so, but they are charged with the responsibility of monitoring these projects. I've been told there's always 5% of the total project cost that is meant for supervision. I do not know whether the district councillors are being given this money to really monitor and supervise these projects that are being, undertaken in these districts. And so that is what has come from the leader of opposition, the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, Matthias Mpuga, in regards to decentralization programs that the government of the Republic of Uganda has been implementing for almost now 30 years as we talk right now, because decentralization was introduced in 1993, before I was born. And so here we still talk about decentralization. And so how effective is this? And I believe that maybe the 12th Parliament of the Republic of Uganda will be able to sit down and discuss this, whether we should continue to have decentralization or to go back to centralization of programs and projects right there. And so that is what you need to know. Let's go for a break and we shall be coming right back. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
More for less on Star Times this Easter season. Cartoon channel for best children entertainment. New global series. Local drama on Makula TV and football all around the world. Simply make weekly or monthly subscription and enjoy upgrade to the next bouquet. For classic or super bouquet customers, subscribe for a month and enjoy 5 days extra. Family time with Star Times. Star Times is regulated by UCC.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
The Ministry of Health will conduct yellow fever preventive mass vaccination campaign for all persons aged 9 months up to 60 years. These people should have never been vaccinated against yellow fever. The yellow fever campaign will be conducted in phases, with the first phase covering districts in the regions of Arua, Gulu, Lira, Kabare, Kabarore, and Hoima. The campaign will begin on the 9th of June and end on the 13th of June 2023 and will be conducted in all government health facilities and outreach posts. All parents and caregivers are requested to take their children aged 9 months to the nearest health facility and outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever disease. All adults aged up to 60 years but have never been vaccinated should go to health facilities and vaccination outreach posts to get vaccinated against yellow fever. Ministry of Health calls upon everybody to report any person who presents with signs and symptoms such as yellowing of eyes, fever, headache, muscle pain, feeling of vomiting or nausea, vomiting, and general body weakness or fatigue to the nearest health facility or health worker immediately for medical attention. This could be yellow fever. Yellow fever vaccine is a single dose given once in a lifetime. The yellow fever vaccine is safe, effective, and free. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Gavi and partners.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, more from the Daily Monitor. 22 pilgrims stuck in Namugongo, according to the police here. And so I think these people could not really move back to their different places. It could be because of transport and other stuff. Let me get the story for you right here. Police have said they are organizing transport for 22 pilgrims stuck at Namugongo Catholic Shrine in Wakiso district. These had come to celebrate the annual Martyrs' Day celebrations on 3rd June at the Namugongo Shrines in Wakiso. And so as of Sunday, we still had 22 pilgrims at the Catholic Shrine that were still stranded, and we are making arrangements with the transport sector to see how they can get transported back to their places of origin. And this is according to police spokesperson Fred Enanga. He was speaking to journalists yesterday in Kampala. An estimated more than 2.5 million local and international pilgrims, mostly trekkers, participated in the 2023 Martyrs' Day celebrations. According to Enanga, 199 crimes were registered over a period of 7 days from May 27th to June 4th when police started deploying security in Namugongo. Of these cases, 130 were theft, 69 were for other offenses. These were 148 arrests, for which males were 137, females and 8 male juveniles who were taken in as suspects, and this according to Enanga right there. So he said during the celebrations a total of 45 children were recovered after they were separated from their parents, but police managed to reunite them with their relatives, and that is something that you need to know. He noted that the popular celebrations are passed without any major incidents or threats to security. Kudos to the security operatives that we do have in our country, Uganda, for the job well done during the 3rd June Martyrs' Day celebrations right there at Anglican Shrine and also, Catholic Shrine right there in Wakiso at Namugongo. And so we congratulate very much the brothers and sisters in uniform for the job well done. Continue with such job of detecting and also preventing crime at the same time, and also managing crime. All right. Prison boss cautions 149 promoted officers is also what you have to know. And then also senior Makerere lecturer attacked by suspected assailants is also another story that we do have. Then money lenders failing Myoga projects. That is according to government. Government is now trying to say that money lenders are failing Myoga projects. People prefer going to borrow money from money lenders than borrowing from the Myoga, is what the government is telling us here. And then IGG, remarks on that is what we call shortage draw mixed reactions. Right, the government delays mergers of its agencies. Also another story. All right, dear viewer, let's go for a break, and when we come back, we shall be diving into what we have in the new vision this morning, so that you get to understand. Good morning.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region. Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, I will be back here. Thank you very much, dear viewer. Let's get to the new vision this morning. You have to know that the police police accused of stealing Bukedea LC5 prospects campaign funds is what you need to know. Is one of the stories that are featured in both the dailies, the Daily Monitor, and also the new vision right here. The police in Kyoga East region have launched investigations into claims that some of their fellow officers at Bukedea Central Police Station allegedly stole 165 million. And so the money allegedly belongs to David Stephen Omagor, who was due to be nominated on Monday as candidate for the Bukedea LC5 by-election. On Monday, 3 candidates were nominated to contest in the by-election. They are FDC Sam Oita Odeke, NRM's Mary Akol, and Independent Reverend Sam Bukalin. He has reported the matter to the region, and as such, we have sent our officers on the ground to verify the claims. All those claims shall be established once our officers are done with the investigation, and that is said Kyoga East Police spokesman Oscar Gesha. Omagor was scheduled to be nominated on Monday at 9:30, but ended up appearing at 9 p.m. Appearing at 3 p.m. To seek permission to be nominated today, Tuesday, June 6. He said he failed to get nominated on time because of an alleged attack on him by the police. On June 4th, 2023, at about midnight, personnel from Uganda Police Force attached to Bukedea Central Police Station attacked my friend's home, Alfred Ingune, where I was residing, and robbed me of my nomination documents, money worth 163 million, and Audimar's Peugeot Royal Oak Wash that is worth $23,000 US, and my medication for treatment. Omagor said in a statement to returning officer Suleiman Kato, who permitted him to be nominated today on Tuesday. And so, speaking to the media at the returning officer's office, Omagor said that his academic paper survived, but the forms bearing signatures of people supporting his candidature, pictures and clothes he was meant to put on, were robbed at gunpoint. And so the incident happened at the Mokori cell in Bukedea town. He explained that he had that much money on him to help facilitate his agenda, since he was set to start a massive mobilization campaign. It's quite unfortunate right there, the political landscape for that is a Bukedea LC5 race right there. So we pray that the investigation will be concluded, and those that will be found culpable will be dealt with according to the law of the land. And so that's something that you need to know. 35-year-old man lynched over banana theft. It's quite unfortunate right there that you go and steal banana and then you are lynched and you die. Yeah, you go. And so Uganda ready to wrestle back the Africa region for Golf Championship. This is another sports story that you need to know this morning. And then Uganda cannot afford to miss out on GMO revolution, scientists say right there. And so President Museveni, African perspective could benefit Russia-Ukraine peace plan. That's according to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Let's have the story, as it has been reported by the Daily Monitor this morning, that President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has pledged his support and contribution to the peace process to resolve the current Russia-Ukraine crisis. While attending a virtual meeting hosted by South African President Cyril Ramaphosa on Monday at State House, that is Nakasero, President Museveni emphasized that the two countries, Russia and Ukraine, could benefit from the African perspective on peace. And so Museveni noted that the conflict has affected Africa, highlighting sanctions that have affected banking and marine transport, among others. He thanked South Africa and all the organizers for setting up the meeting to discuss Africa's voice in contributing to the ending the crisis. And so, on his part, Ramaphosa saluted African presidents for setting aside time to discuss Africa's contribution to resolving the Russian-Ukraine crisis around there. And so, Ramaphosa noted that their aim as African heads of state is to see to it that both Russia and Ukraine engage in meaningful negotiations that will bring an end to the conflict. And so So African heads of states going to Russia and Ukraine to really have the two countries sit down and discuss a peace. And then also when you come back to Africa, we still have countries that are at war. And I do not know how much the African heads of state have contributed to ending the war that we have in Africa. And so I know that there are different settings that have been organized to discuss the issues of the geopolitical issues that we have in Africa. But I believe that time will come that we shall say bye-bye to the civil wars that we do have in these countries that we have in Africa. But I'm waiting to hear the discussion that the African heads of state will be discussing together with the president of Russia and also the president of Ukraine, as they're planning to go and have the two heads of state, that is Russia and the president and also Ukrainian president, having a discussion on how they can really, enter into a peace deal to bring peace in the two countries right there. And so the president, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, said African perspective could benefit Ukraine-Russia peace plan. And so we are waiting to hear those, perspective from the African heads of state right there. And so that's something that you need to know in regards to some of the, international stories that we do have right here. And so you can get this story fully in the new version for today, 6th of June 2020. That is 3 right there for you. Drama as MP Zake storms out court over impeachment case is also another story. And then also Rwanda asked Malawi to help find 55 genocide suspects. This is according to the minister, is one of the international stories that you need to know right here, that Malawi's government said on Monday that Rwanda has asked it to help apprehend 55 fugitives wanted in connection with the 1994 Rwandan genocide believed to be hiding in the country. So Malawi's Minister of Homeland Security, that is Ken Zikale Ngoma, said Shigali lodged an official request for assistance as it seeks to locate the suspected warlords right there. And so the Rwandan government has sought assistance from the Malawi government in identifying 55 suspects who are currently hiding in Malawi. These individuals are non-warlords, Ngoma told a press conference in capital Lilongwe right there for you. So around 800,000 Rwandans, most of them ethnic and Tutsi, were slaughtered over just 100 days in 1994 at the hands of Hutu extremists. And so the suspects allegedly hiding in Malawi are wanted in connection with the death of over 2,000 people in some churches. Ngoma said giving no further details is what you need to know right there. So Rwanda's request comes weeks after, that is Fulgence Kayinshema, one of the 4 remaining fugitives sought by United Nations investigators for their role in the genocide, was arrested in South Africa after more than 2 decades on the run. Kayishima, who used many aliases and false documents, is thought to have traveled on a Malawian passport. And then Goma said authorities were conducting thorough investigations into how the now 62-year-old acquired the document and would be providing a comprehensive report soon. And that is one of the international stories that you need to know between Malawi and also that is the Rwandan government. And so we are waiting to see whether the 55 the fugitives that have been claimed by Rwandan government will be arrested by Malawian government, as it is claimed that these 55 fugitives are hiding in Malawi right there. And so let's have more here. Ex-Vice President Pence jumps into 2024 White House race is also another story. You have to know that America will be going to poll next year in 2024, and so there are preparations that are going on to see who will be the next president of US. Is also another news that you need to know, that the Republican former Vice President Mike Pence launched Monday his a hotly anticipated challenge to one-time boss Donald Trump for the party's 2024 White House nomination, setting up the unusual scenario of 2 running mates becoming rivals right there. And so Pence, a 63-year-old evangelical Christian, filed his nomination papers with the Federal Election Commission ahead of an official declaration to be made by video Wednesday in the early voting state of Iowa, joining an already crowded that is a primary field. He spent that is his 2017-2021 tenure as vice president, honing his reputation as a loyal deputy who brought the religious right into the tent and who was willing to defend the president against any accusation. And so, but he became a pariah in Trump world after rejecting the Republican leader's demands that he overrun the 2020 election in his role as president of the Senate. And so, berated constantly by Trump after Joe Biden's victory, and even heckled at A conservative at that conference with the chants of a traitor penance continue to praise the tycoon in public. And so who is the tycoon in US? It's Donald Trump here. And so that eventually changed as Trump's torrent of false claims of election fraud led to a mob chanting for penance to be hanged at the US Capitol. Since the riot, Pence has called out Trump for endangering his family and has emphasized his differences with the former president on issues ranging from the handling of Russian leader that is Vladimir Putin to abortion rights right there. And so the issue of abortion rights was also another hot cake in US. And so Christian, conservative and Republicans, so Pence has spent much of the 2 years touring early, nominating states such as Iowa, South Carolina and New Hampshire to reinforce his political vision as a Christian conservative Republican in that order. So his entry doesn't much change the dynamics of the race, which is divided into 3 lanes. Runaway leader Donald Trump, Trump's closest rival Ron DeSantis, and everyone else. So the Pence is framing himself as a traditional Republican, concerned with the physical responsibility and family values, who can deliver Trump's policies on the economy, immigration, and much else without the drama, is what you need to know on the international scene from the New Vision this morning for you. And so last one from the international scene that you need to know this morning is that Trump too small. U.S. Supreme Court to decide is also another story that you need to know. Issues to do with the case stems from an attempt by Californian lawyer Steve Elster to trademark the usually that's suggestive phrase and print it on T-shirts. He said, "I stand with." And so here the U.S. Supreme Court on Monday agreed to hear a trademark dispute over the phrase "Trump too small" used to mock the former president. And so the case stems from an attempt by a California lawyer Steve Elster to trademark the sexually suggestive phrase and print it on T-shirts. Elster's bid to register Trump too small was rejected by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office because he did not have Donald Trump's written consent to use his name on his T-shirt. So that's what you need to know in America. People follow law. In Uganda here, you can get Oringi's name and you can really use all sort of words that you want and you write it on your T-shirt and you move freely. But this particular one in U.S., when this Californian lawyer tried to really register this as a patent with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, he was denied. And so the Federal Court of Appeals disagreed, ruling that it was a violation of Elster's First Amendment free speech right. Somewhere, ironically, it is the administration of Democratic President Joe Biden on behalf of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office that appealed to the Supreme Court. And so Elster's attorney in a brief said the phrase is politically commentary, and while it does involve a double entendre, it is meant to convey his client's view of the smallness of the Donald Trump's overall approach to governing as president of the United States. And so you can really get to understand the conflicts between the parties that we have in the U.S. in regards to the 2024 next year's election that we shall be able to have in the U.S. And so you find the different camps belonging to, that is Joe Biden, who is currently the president of the U.S., and also talking about the camp of Donald Trump and also those allies of Trump trying to have it right there. I thought this is only happening in Uganda, or Kumbe also in America. Much as Kumbe is not an English word, also in America it is really happening. And so politics will remain politics. And so whether in Uganda or in America, politics will always really remain politics. And what we need to do is to really tolerate one another when we are practicing our political ambition here in this world. And so whether you are in US or you are in Uganda, you need to tolerate one another as you practice your politics right there. And so that's something that I can give you this morning from the New Vision. Thank you very much, dear viewer. You have to know that 8 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Let's go for a break and we'll be coming right back with what is happening in the world of sports this morning. My name is Denis Oringi. Let's go for a break.
Westnile TV, lighting up the region.
It's time for me to give you what is happening in the world of sports. You have to know that the football's future. Manchester City, first Champions League win for state-backed club is what you need to know right here. That while City put their money into attracting that is Guardiola and building the perfect environment for him to thrive, the PSG through cash at signing superstars right there. And meanwhile, Manchester United are preparing for their Champions League comeback and may soon be in Qatari hands themselves. And so Saturday's Champions League final between Manchester City and Inter Milan in Istanbul could mark a definitive turning point in the European football. Is what you need to know. That victory for City would be the first for a state-backed outfit in Europe's elite club competition after more than a decade of trying. The club that has just won a 5th Premier League title in 6 seasons has been transformed since the 2008 takeover by the Abu Dhabi United Group backed by Sheikh Mansour bin Zayed Al Nahyan. They reached their first Champions League final in 2021, losing 1-0 to Chelsea, beaten by Real Madrid in the semi-finals. Last year, City exacted revenge on the great aristocrats of European football in this season's semi-finals. So having added the FA Cup to the Premier League title, they are eyeing a treble in Istanbul, something City boss Pep Guardiola has called a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity right there. So meanwhile, the rest of Europe must wonder if the sport is headed for a period of City dominance. They topped this year's Deloitte Football Money League, a reference in measuring the financial might of European clubs, with revenue last season of 731 million euros, apparently $783 million right there. So the same ranking a decade ago had City 7th, and their rise has posed problems for the sport, with the City being fined 60 million euros in 2014 for breaching that is UEFA's financial fair play regulation. So the club were banned for 2 years from UEFA competitions in February 2020 for serious financial fair play breaches, but the sanction was later overturned by the Court of Arbitration for Sport. So in February this year, they were charged with 115 alleged rule breaches by the Premier League relating to the period from 2009 to 2018. That case may not be resolved anytime soon. And so old elite left behind. Yet if simply spending vast sums were all that mattered, Paris Saint-Germain would have won the Champions League already. And so when you talk about spending in sports, I have to tell you that PSG is one of the teams that we have in Europe that puts a lot of money in really buying the players and also spending money in any issue that regards sports right there for you. So let's wait for a Saturday and see whether it will be going to Inter Milan or going to Manchester City, and we shall be waiting to see who will lift the UEFA trophy right there. And the game will be between Manchester City and Inter Milan. Will it remain in Istanbul where the game will be played, or it will really go to that is England right there in the city of Manchester? And so dear viewer, thank you very much. My name is Denis Oringi. More of the sport news we shall be able to have it during the whistle time with Frudy Owen, Lady Susan, and also not forgetting Benson, as they will be doing the analysis of the games right there for you. And I have to tell you that congratulations to Paida Black Angels for the mobilization of resources that they were able to mobilize in that particular campaign of talents identification. Over 7 million was realized from over 14 million, I think, was realized from that particular move that the management of the Black Angels really took right there. And I believe that the money will be properly used, more especially in really bringing on board more players so that we can really see them also joining the FOFA Big League. Remember, they're still playing the regional league here in West Nile, and so we shall pray for them to go back to that is FOFA Big League, and also see them going back again to that is Uganda Premier League right there for you. Thank you very much. much. 3 minutes to the top of the hour of 9 a.m. right on Westnile Television. Catch me again tomorrow for the same program, the KOKOLIRIKO Show, live on Westnile Television. And do not forget to follow my Pastor Twitter handle and also Facebook page, Oringi Denis, right there. And also do not forget to follow Westnile Television on all the channels that we do have, the Zuko Satellite channel 0073 and also Star Times channel 477. Not forgetting the YouTube and also Facebook and also Twitter right there. For the YouTube, subscribe. For the Facebook, you have to like the page. And also for Twitter, make sure that you follow Westnile Television. And for those who have not bought Star Times and Zuko yet, please, you can do that. Very simple. Just get to any a sale agent next to you, ask for Zuko or Satellite, and then you have yourself watching Westnile Television throughout from Monday to Monday, 24 hours in 7 days. Good morning.